Today we will be talking about mental illnesses and education that should be had in all schools to let people know about mental illnesses and their warning signs and how to help with people who have mental illnesses. So today the information that I will be giving out will be from Huffington Post article called Why Mental Health Education Should Be in Schools and Needs to Be a Priority. So mental illness, particularly depression, has been predicted to be one of the #1 major health concerns in our coming decade that will affect millions and millions more than in decades past. Equipping our children on how to deal with these mental illnesses will not only help themselves but help others. It will make them understand how if they're having these feelings, these heavy feelings in their heart, in their stomach, or if they notice a friend struggling with certain things, they'll know what to do and where to get help. This also, having this sort of information about mental illnesses and depression, anxiety, OCD, and even different things like suicide awareness and suicide warning signs will not only help them know how to better help themselves and help other people, but it'll also just give them a much wider and well-rounded education that can really help them in the future someday as well, especially going into different fields such as psychology, the medical field, different things like that. Well, they will run into different scenarios where they will be dealing with children or adults or even geriatric population where they will have these different mental illnesses and mental health disorders. However, even though there has been a growing mental health movement in the past couple of years, there is still this very large stigma around mental illnesses and mental health, where people think that either people are faking it, it's not real, and because of the stigma, many who are struggling with this do not feel like they can get the help that they so much need and desire. Teaching about mental illnesses and mental health in school will help to get rid of this stigma and this taboo-ness around the subject. When people talk about it in school and talk about it openly and freely, it makes children have their brains start working, but not in a negative way that many scientists worry about, where they think if we talk about suicide, we talk about depression, then all of a sudden children are going to start getting this idea in their head where they think it's a cool thing to do and they'll follow suit. Instead, they will realize that there are chemical imbalances in our brain that make us feel these ways and act these ways, and realize that it's okay for them to ask for help and come out for help, and it's okay for them to help their friends who are asking for help and not to be judged. In secondary school, children around 14, this is one of the most prevalent ages where mental illnesses will be affected. 50% of the children at age 14 will have lifelong mental illnesses appear at this time, making this such a great, optimal place to have mental health education, where people can really stop it before it gets too far out of hand and before they could lose someone's life. 1 in 4 people suffer from a mental illness in their lifetime, meaning that mental illness education in schools can help the 1 in 4 people realize that it's not something wrong with them, that this is a legitimate thing that they are struggling with, and it can help the other 3/4 of people realize what's going on in their friends or siblings or children's minds, and then can also help them know what the warning signs are and how to deal with this and how to help them and how to help others who don't quite understand better so that they can start to heal. So basically what I'm saying through this speech is that we should not only be targeting the people with mental illnesses, with this mental illness education. We should be targeting everyone. Targeting only the people with mental illnesses makes them feel even more signaled out and secluded out to where they feel even more like there's something wrong with them and it's something that's weird and in their head when it is not. So making it where you're talking to a whole entire grade, a whole entire classroom, it makes it a safe space. It makes them understand that they can come and they can talk to their teachers, their fellow classmates. So in this speech, I have talked about Huffington Post's article on why mental health education in schools should be such a priority. I have talked about how there will be positive effects from this, not only with the people who struggle from mental illnesses, but also when they struggle, or for the people who do not struggle from mental illnesses. It can help everywhere from the tiny children who their older siblings are struggling with this all the way to the parents. I have also talked about how it's not just a fad. It's not something that people do for attention. It is a chemical imbalance in their brain. So thank you.